Okay, we are back with the very much anticipated Last of Us 2 thoughts. Uh, so yeah, we are gonna be given quite a bit of information for you guys. So if it's a bit of a long video, then bear with us. Hopefully you get through the whole thing. We've got a lot to say, so we're gonna just try to start right away. Noah, say hi.
Oh yeah. What's up, guys? That was one hell of a game. Wow. Yeah, I got a lot to say, a lot of thoughts. I don't really know if I formed like a coherent opinion yet, but we're just gonna talk about what we thought of our first playthroughs and see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, so basically, Noah and I have both played the game once. I'm in the process of playing it again on a harder difficulty. Just started it, so I'm not too far. But anyways, we don't really have a super strong view on, like, we don't, our opinions are not complete yet, we don't feel, but we do want to make this video because we don't want to wait too long with giving you guys at least one video on this game, and we are dying to make a video. So we figured we'd give you I guess this would be our initial thoughts of the game. We will be making way more videos on this game, like lots of content on this game, because there's so much to talk about. But anyways, we're gonna start with this video. So first of all, we're gonna start off a little bit more relaxed. We're not gonna get into the story yet, because that is by far the most controversial part of this game, obviously. We're gonna start off just talking about the game itself besides the story. So we're gonna go over some pros, go over some cons, talk about it. So I'm gonna give it to Noah. So Noah, what was the first thing that you wanted to talk about, the thing that you liked a lot about this game?
Okay, first of all, so you played the game on moderate, right?
Is that normal? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Martyr. I played it on like the default difficulty.
Okay, and I played it on hard for most of the game. So yeah, I'd say my first impression was, well, I had just finished The Last of Us Remastered literally that night, and then just went right over to The Last of Us 2. So my first impression was, holy shit, 30 frames per second, my eyes. But once I got past that, I was like, wow, these graphics are fucking insane. That was probably my first impression, was like, just holy shit. It looked good. And I mean, that's pretty much a given. It's a Naughty Dog game. You expect it to look good. But man, like, just especially the animations, like just the way people moved was so natural. And throughout the whole game, like, the animations were just so good. And I think they just made the game so much more enjoyable, and actually made the gameplay better too. So I'd say, yeah, first impression was the graphics were great. But my favorite thing about the game overall was probably the gameplay. And I know a lot of people were sort of complaining because they said it doesn't seem like there's a lot of changes from the first game. You know, they added a jump button, they added a prone button, yeah, whatever. But I feel like just the way the levels were designed, and all of the extra movement you can do and ways you could hide and use stealth, just really made the game feel a lot more sandboxy and open. Sort of the same way that Uncharted 4 makes the older Uncharted games feel really like boxed in and non-creative to play. I feel like this sort of did the same thing. Like, I just had a lot of fun dicking around with the enemies and trying out new tactics and stuff. So yeah, that was probably my favorite part. What about you?
The graphics, holy shit, they were awesome. Like, I had to stop and watch, like, I had to stop and just look at the environments, just to like take it in and be like, whew. Like, that's pretty crazy. I can't imagine how much time they spent doing that, making every little bit perfect, but it was just incredible to look at. But yeah, like, the gameplay was super enjoyable. Very similar to the first one, obviously. Like, I wouldn't say that there was a huge, noticeable difference. Like you said, there was, the aspects of adding the prone and jumping and all that stuff, like adding a little bit of Uncharted to it, but not like super unrealistic like Uncharted is. So that was good. It definitely gave you more choices, and it added a lot more to the stealth aspect of the game. Like, being able to go prone was huge, and I used that a lot, and that was really fun to do.
And I like that you didn't just like go invisible as soon as you went into the grass like Uncharted 4. Like,
yeah, like
I
they
don't know
could
if
actually
it's the same
see
on
you
normal,
once they
but
got closer and stuff like that.
yeah, exactly. Like, it felt like it felt like I would do stuff that you would realistically do in real life, and something that would actually work against real people would work in the game, but you weren't just like superhuman and could just outwit everybody. So
Yeah.
sorry, keep going.
I was just gonna say that, yeah, like the stealth was really fun in this game for sure. My favorite part about this game was definitely, I don't know how to explain it. It was very nostalgic for the first game. Like, I like that they didn't change the game mechanics and like the shooting and the stealth and the level design, all the crafting stuff. I'm glad they didn't change that dramatically. I really liked the first game for that aspect, and again, I liked the second one because of it too. So yeah, it was really fun, and I got through it. I started it Friday night when it came out on Friday, and I finished it Sunday night. Like I was playing the shit out of it, and yeah, it was really fun. The voice acting was awesome, which is not too surprising. Like, Naughty Dog games have always had good voice actors. It's always been really good. The characters were, some characters I like, some I did, obviously, but yeah, it was for the most part, like the gameplay and graphics and voice acting, level design, stealth and shooting, all the cinematic transitions were really clean and crisp, and it flowed really well. I liked all of that about the game. There wasn't too much to complain about for that aspect.
Yeah, like technically speaking, like all the technical aspects, they pretty much fucking knocked it out of the park as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to talk about the sound design a bit, because holy shit, this was such a massive improvement from the first game. I'm playing on like a pretty good surround sound system, and the way like enemies' gunshots sounded fucking echoing around the buildings, it was just, they sounded like scary, man. And like you could tell where people were walking, and even just like the ambience and quiet scenes when you had like the distant thunder and the rain coming down. I thought everything just felt really, I don't know how to explain it. Like all the sounds were just really clean and realistic, and the guns in particular didn't have that sort of fake sound that a lot of the ones in the first game did, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
just
the
like,
music,
wow.
the music was great too. Like,
Oh my god,
Gustavo, I can't remember his last name. He did an awesome job. It was good, and I'm kind of glad they didn't use the exact same music from the first game. I like that they changed it up a little bit, but it still has that same theme. But yeah, it was really good. It fit.
Oh
pretty
yeah,
well
I
for
forgot
the
to
most
talk
part.
about the music. Fucking incredible. And I feel like the music really made some certain emotional scenes that wouldn't have really worked otherwise, or not nearly as well. Just, yeah, fucking incredible job. Yeah, I'd say other than that, like, as far as technical aspects go, there's not really much more I can say other than it was all really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of story, I'm mixed on it. I liked quite a bit of what they did. I thought that a lot of the new characters, specifically Dina and Yara and Lev, were good. They were pretty likable, and the actual like themes of the story and the message they were trying to get across, I enjoyed. I just had some big issues with the actual structure of the plot. I thought it was like there was a lot of messiness to it, and there was stuff that didn't really work for me. So I guess, do you want to go into your thoughts on the story first?
All right. So, just a heads up, guys. I'm sure you guys have heard all sorts of negative things about this game. I have struggled to find anything on YouTube, anything positive about this game, to be completely honest with you. And we're trying to be as fair as possible. That's why we decided to start off with all of our pros and stuff like that. We don't want to just get straight into the negatives, because it does get kind of annoying after a while. Like, this game may be controversial, and there may be a lot of things that are not good about it, but you gotta at least appreciate the fact that the good parts about this game are awesome. Like, awesome. They're a Naughty Dog game. Nothing's changed about that. The story, yes, it has problems. And it's very easy to criticize. And I'm sure we'll be doing that a lot in this video. But I didn't get any of the spoilers or any of the leaks that came out a month
or 2 months ago at this point. That was a huge help. If I did get spoiled, which I looked back on after the game, like after I played the game, I don't even know if I would have enjoyed the game, because I would have just been thinking about all the shit that I would have had to like take in. Like, first of all, before I even get into all of the character choices and, you know, who you have to play, all that stuff, all the LGBT stuff, and I'm just gonna get into the first thing, which is, and Joel's death, obviously. I'm gonna get to the first thing, which is, I thought that this game was so hard to follow. Like, the amount of cuts to black in this game to then another piece of the story, it just felt like set piece after set piece after set piece, and there was no flow. I get what they were trying to do. Like, I know they were trying to do like okay, this is what happens in this 3 days on Ellie's perspective. This is what happens to Abby the same time. It's showing like this. They're trying to show that Ellie's going darker and Abby's trying to get better, and they collide at the end. I get that. I get what they were trying to do. I didn't buy it with Abby because she killed Joel, but I get it. But at the same time, like, it took away I didn't enjoy that, because this game is supposed to be a linear story. It did not feel like a regular Naughty Dog game, which are very linear stories, which are what I like and what most people like about Naughty Dog games. It just felt like I had to keep reminding myself, like, oh, okay. Like, not so much reminding myself, but I had to keep, like, I had to focus on what was going on. Like, I really had to be like, oh, okay, so, like, I'd almost forget some certain things because it was so chopped up. And I'd get frustrated because I would just keep thinking, especially towards the end of the game where they kept cutting to black. I'd be like, is that the end? Nope. Is that the end? Nope. Is that the end? Nope. It's like, it gets frustrating because you just want it to just flow nicely. The first half of the game did, because they hadn't done that like reset to the first day. So the first Ellie's section, the first half of it was fine with the flow, but as soon as they got to Abby and like having to restart, it's like you work to get all of these you work to get all of these things, all these attachments, for example, with the guns and the crafting, and then you basically just have to start over. It felt like two different games, and that took away a lot of the enjoyment for me, because I felt like I was literally playing two games, and I was just a little bit annoyed that, first of all, we even had to play as Abby. Like, I don't understand why they decided to have us play as Abby for 12 fucking hours. 12 hours. That's half the game. Why? Why? I do understand. They want to make you feel sympathy and connect with Abby and really make you understand why she did what she did and how she's struggling struggling with her, well, psychopath tendencies. And, you know, she puts in effort to try to be a better person. I get what they were trying to do, okay? But it did not work, for me at least. I still hated Abby. I still wanted her to die. And I was just, I didn't care about this character. As much as they tried to, like, make you like her and make her, you know, build connections with other characters, I just didn't care. The only upside to playing as Abby was that she had, it was basically like playing like a dude who was super, super strong. So it was refreshing to play as like a tough character as opposed to playing like Ellie, where she's kind of like weak in comparison. So like that was fun, and she had some cool like badass, you know, fighting stuff, and it would, so that was fun. And the gameplay was still enjoyable. Like, I'd almost say the gameplay and the level design and all that stuff was better with Abby than with Ellie. Like, it was there was more set pieces, and it was more like over the top, and that was fun. But the shooting was, you know, there was more there. But I don't know, like, without getting super into the story, I did not like the cut in the middle of the story, restart, see it from Abby, try to connect the two, and then they did a year time jump, and then they did another jump, and then another jump. It's just like, oh my god. You can only take so many like leaps in time and without losing your audience is like full attention. You're just like, okay, again, okay, great, again. It's like, it's a video game. Like, players want to play the story. They don't want to lose out on all this extra time, and that's what I felt. It's just like, oh, I can't. I get like,
Yeah, that's
like towards the end. I'm almost done. Towards the end of the game, where Abby leaves to go, or Ellie leaves to go get Abby, and then poof, time jump, and she's all the way. She's found their sailboat on the beach. Like, what the, like, a little. It just felt like that, and that's my last point. Like, this game had so much lazy writing, I felt like, which is so frustrating because Naughty Dog is normally so good at their writing is normally awesome, and this game had some of the laziest writing I've ever experienced with a Naughty Dog game, by far. Joel's death was lazy writing, the ending was lazy writing, all the, so many coincidence, like. It's just lazy writing. I'll get into it later, but I'll let Noah talk for a little bit. But lazy writing is my last point. That was a huge thing for me that I really did not like.
So yeah, when I alluded to having some issues with the structure of the story, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. I think my biggest issue was the fact that you play as Ellie for like 8 or 9 hours and you get really invested in her story, and then boom, you're left off on a cliffhanger where, Abby has a gun on her, she killed Jesse. Now all of a sudden, well, they just kill the whole momentum and just make you play as Abby for like a whole 12 hours. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't say I totally hated the time that you played as Abby. The problem was when you just kill the momentum of the story in the middle like that. As soon as I got to her section, my first thought was, okay, I want to rush through this and get back to where we left off because I want to see what the fuck is going to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you left us on a cliffhanger. And even though, like, throughout her part of the journey, once she meets Lev and Yara and all that gets going, I did sort of become invested in her journey, and I started to enjoy playing as her a lot more. I was always a little bit on the edge of my seat, and in the back of my mind, there was just that little nagging thought saying, okay, let's go, let's just get back to the real story. I feel like the flashback was just too long. If it was a few hours, it would have been fine, but it just took, what am I trying to say? It just sort of ground the story to a screeching halt for too long, in my opinion. And like what you were saying about it being confusing, first of all, her section, there was like a flashback. It was a flashback, and then within that there was another flashback to the aquarium, and a flashback to the aquarium before, and another flashback, and it was just so hard to keep track of. And like when, by the time you were like meeting the people who Ellie had killed, I fucking, half of them, as soon as I met them, like I'd say, like the Asian girl who's playing the Vita, who Ellie stabs in the neck, I met her and I'm thinking like, wait, so did Ellie kill her or not? Like there's too many freaking characters to keep track of, and they were introduced in such a weird way. It was just too much. Okay, so here's something I've been thinking about, and I want to get your opinion on this. Do you think the game would have worked better if the Abby section was at the beginning? And now, okay, hear me out for a second, it sounds weird. So imagine the game opens, and it opens on her section, and you play through Seattle, learning about all the characters and learning to like them, enjoy them, and you don't have this preconceived thought of she killed Joel, I hate her. So it's a lot easier for you to get invested in her as a character and understand why she's doing what she's doing. And all you know is that she got revenge on somebody, and then slowly you go through and you find out that all of her friends are getting killed, and then you get to the aquarium and Owen and what was the girl's name, Mia, are dead, and then it flashes back to her and Jackson, and then
Mel, not Mia.
Sorry, Owen and Mel are dead, and then it flashes back to Jackson in like the little part you play as at the beginning, and then you realize that holy fuck, that whole time I was playing as the girl who killed Joel. I know it would require a lot of like little changes to make that work, but I sort of feel like if they had structured the game like that, once people got over their confusion of playing as a new character for the first half of the game, I feel like it would have sort of just accomplished what they were trying to do a lot better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what do you think? Do you think that's just totally dumb, or do you think that could have actually worked?
Yeah, first of all, I didn't want to play as Abby, and I don't think anyone did. So, assuming that no matter what, we would have to play as her, my ideal situation of how to play her, where you wouldn't hate her, is yes, I 100% agree with what you just said. That is probably the only way I could think of where you could play as her without wanting to fucking kill her the whole time. When I was at the fucking bridge section at the top of the fucking buildings, I jumped off 10 times. Like, fuck her.
That part was really fun to actually play, though.
But anyways,
like,
your whole idea is good. Like, it would make sense because yes, their goal was to show you that she is just as justified to be mad at Joel for killing her father as Ellie is to be mad at Abby for killing her father-like figure. 100%. Even though I hate Abby for killing Joel, you cannot deny that it's understandable why she would want to kill Joel. That is obvious. And the only reason it didn't work with me actually feeling bad for her is because she killed our main character that we like. Obviously, we have spent way more time with Joel, and we care more about Joel over Abby, even if she had a good reason to kill him. So that's that. But in terms of, yeah, if we played as Abby at the beginning of the game without knowing why, and then slowly finding out, like, for example, we start off with, Seattle day 1. You don't even start off with her plans to kill Joel. They don't even touch on it. It just starts off day 1 of Seattle with Abby, right? It plays out the same way, and then all of a sudden, without even knowing who killed, I mean, I guess you could assume, oh, it's Ellie. But yeah, you get to the whole, ignore Ellie, you get to back to the aquarium, Mel and Owen are dead, you go to the theater, and boom, you find out, oh my god, is that Tommy? When she goes down the stairs. Holy shit, is that Ellie? And then poof, you cut, and then you start Ellie's. I almost think that if you reverse that, like you said, it would have made way more fucking sense. Way more sense, because you wouldn't have hated Abby while you were playing her, because you know what she did. And even if they like ended off that cut with yeah, you killed my friends and you wasted it, blah blah, points the gun at Ellie, and then cuts to black, and then yeah, like if they started with the beginning of the game that way and killed off Joel, and then Abby, you know, did what she did at the beginning of the game, in, you know, around the middle of the game, I think it would have, the execution would have been a lot better in terms of players actually not hating playing as Abby. They still would hate the character for what she did, but they wouldn't despise playing as her for 12 hours of the game. So
exactly,
I agree.
I just feel like the game had some really good ideas, and I like what they were trying to say with it. I just, definitely had some issues with the actual execution, which is weird because Naughty Dog games usually have really good pacing, and they usually do a very good job with that sort of stuff. I just feel like maybe they were a little bit too ambitious in what they were trying to pull off, and having to reconcile that with the fact that people are gonna be fucking confused if the first 12 hours of the game are like, I don't really know what I'm trying to say. Basically, I just feel like they sort of tried to do a little bit too much and couldn't quite pull it off. Yeah.
Alright guys, so sorry for the anticlimactic ending there, but we're actually going to cut the video in half just because we ended up talking for about another 30 minutes about the story separately. So instead of having like a 45-minute video talking about a lot of different things, we're just going to cut it in half, have 2 sections where we talk about 2 different things, so at least it's a little bit more coherent and not as just kind of, you know, dragged on. So look out for that video, probably coming tomorrow or the day after, where we dissect the story, have a little bit of debate over their choices in the story, because Noah and I kind of differ on a couple things. But yeah, that'll just be the rest of that video. And then, like we said in the beginning, I think we're actually going to have a lot more videos on this channel about the game. Noah has a ton of videos he wants to do on his own. I have a ton of videos I want to do on my own. We're going to collaborate in a couple more videos. But there will be tons of Last of Us content on this channel. So, if you're coming here from, you know, external sources, if you are not subscribed to this channel, make sure to subscribe, because we're going to have a ton of The Last of Us stuff coming out. And, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and are looking forward to more. If you're not really into this kind of video, you're definitely not at the end of it. But if you did enjoy this, let us know. We're going to have a lot of, you know, more edited, more professional, like really to the point type of videos. This video is just kind of meant to, you know, kind of have a little bit of a sit down talk, kind of like a podcast where we're just kind of, you know, giving our thoughts as they come to us. We're not really like having a planned goal and not like making it super edited. But anyways, I'm going to stop talking. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, because finally we'll have the comments on now that the game's out and all spoilers are completely not a problem. So yeah, let us know if you played the game, let us know if you liked it, let us know if you disliked it, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.